Hello, it is I once again. If you're new to the channel, my name is Muggy, not my real name obviously, and if you're wondering what game I'm playing, I know it's pretty weird. It's called ABZU. The reason I say that is because I always get comments like, this fruitcake always plays the most pansy games. So, 6ix9ine is a controversial figure, but he knew how to market himself during his music career. The problem is the exact marketing method that he used to get so much fame was the one that got him locked up. And in this instance, I'm not talking about the fact that he had rainbow hair and 6ix9ine tatted all over his body. If you've been watching me for a while, you'll remember I made a video called Why 6ix9ine is Actually Smart. I talked about why he was great at marketing himself and knew how to capture an audience. Literally, like 2 days after I uploaded that video, the feds arrested 6ix9ine on charges of racketeering and he went to prison. So, I was wrong. 6ix9ine is not actually very smart. He's been in prison since November of 2018, awaiting his trial, which started very recently. There's a lot of debate about what he's doing right now because he's been snitching on a bunch of his former friends. His cooperation with law enforcement will drastically reduce his sentence, like down from 45 years to possibly less than a year. At least that's apparently when he expects to get out, like reportedly. I mean, I understand the strategy of shortening a sentence to get someone to snitch, but it's basically just a summer camp at that point. A lot of people are calling him a snitch, and there are a couple arguments I've seen come up pretty frequently. Some people are saying the fact that he chose the street life in the first place means that he needs to abide by the no snitching rule and that he's a rat. Other people are in agreement with him, saying that he is justified because many of the people he's snitching on previously quote-unquote betrayed him. I'm not here to talk about if I approve of his behavior or not. I just want to speculate about if he'll be able to continue his career after getting out of prison. Once he gets out, he and his family will be in danger because of his testifying in court. That's 100% certain. And many different producers and artists in the rap community will definitely not want to work with him anymore. On this Genius video I saw, which is surprisingly decent for Genius, there was this expert who did sort of a private witness protection program. Like, he didn't work for the government, but he used to do a private service and made it so that people could disappear, have a new backstory, change their name, and move away with no trace. So it's like witness protection, but done by a private entity, I guess. Entity? As he said in the video, most people who go into witness protection, like mobsters and stuff, were normally forgotten about pretty quickly. However, there are multiple problems with this for 6ix9ine though. He can't really be forgotten about. Obviously, his tattoos are all over his body and it would take them a while to remove everything. And with the advent of social media, pretty much no matter where 6ix9ine goes, somebody can just take a picture of him and be like, that dude looks like Tekashi, guys. The internet has allowed for a much easier ability to find out where someone is or what someone is doing at all times. Plus, with all this speculation about witness protection and 6ix9ine disappearing, I think a lot of people are forgetting that knowing him, he probably isn't going to want to stop. I could be wrong, but he might just get out of jail and start talking shit on Instagram Live the very next day. So as I was making this video, I had to redo a lot of it just now because I just saw this article. According to TMZ, which is not always right, but is much more accurate than most of these celebrity gossip sites, 6ix9ine plans to decline witness protection and believes that he can just pick up where he left off with his career right when he gets out. He's gonna opt for round-the-clock 24/7 security for him and, I assume, his family. He's going to be spending his own money on this because apparently he has some cash left from before he went to jail, which, I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't. And he'll be doing all this with the assumption that he doesn't need the money because he'll just take off again right after he gets back out. So yeah, I guess I was right about the fact that he isn't going to want to stop. You could tell that before he was locked up, he was addicted to the attention. Like, he really couldn't get enough. Constantly starting new beef, constantly saying whatever he wanted without caring about consequences. He knew people wanted him dead in certain cities, but he'd still go to those cities and talk shit on Instagram while doing so.
Block right here. This what y'all wanted me in Chicago. This O block right here. I should call this shit no block. It's 10 o'clock. Where the fuck y'all niggas at? Niggas ain't outside. It's only 10 p.m. Where the fuck y'all niggas at, blood?
It wasn't actually 10 p.m. It was like 3:30 a.m. So technically he did fake going to their block at the time they told him to. But the point is, I mean, he still went to the city, fed the homeless, all that stuff. So he sorta didn't give a fuck. But he clearly didn't want to get hurt. Of course, there will be a lot more heat on him now than previously because of what happened in court. But I don't think he'll want to give up his life of constant attention, fame, and all that. I mean, go look at clips of him or interviews in the past and you'll see how much of an attention fiend he is. I think that attention is the main cause of happiness and fulfillment in his life, and that's a part of why he was able to market himself so well. The point is, I don't think he's going to disappear into the public, even if something changes from now. He'll have more security, he'll keep his family safer, he won't trust as many people, but he'll probably still be trying to pursue a career as a rapper or something. I don't really know what he'd rap about though, considering he's clearly not an actual gangster and he paid the 9 Trey Bloods for protection and so he could market himself with the gang image. There's a major problem with all this though. He thinks he can just pick up where he left off, but that doesn't seem too likely to me. If he were to come out and start making music again, the industry has already ostracized him. However, much of his fan base is international, with many suburban kids and hype beasts really having been the main source of his income, so much of his audience wouldn't really care about the snitching stuff that much. But that doesn't really matter because the problem is the industry shit he's gonna have to deal with. Some 6ix9ine fans don't really care about this, as I said, but when it comes to many people in the industry, hip-hop was originally based on the authenticity of the artist. The image is just as important as the music a lot of the time, which is exactly why 6ix9ine tried to portray the image of being a quote-unquote authentic gangster. Anyway, he knew what he was doing when he decided to get involved with all the street stuff. He knew what he was doing when he ordered a hit on somebody. He knew that he could face huge consequences being part of a gang while being an extremely prominent celebrity. That obviously never goes down well. People in interviews warned him that since he's so famous in advertising a gang, the feds were gonna get him on something.
You don't think you effing up your money with this tough guy, gangster persona?
Nah, I don't know. What you think is a persona?
It is clearly a persona.
So you saying that I don't live up to it?
I don't know what you live up to. All I'm saying is that eventually it's gonna catch up to you.
You could talk crazy to the hot dog guy downstairs and you fucking got your guard down and he could get you. Like, anybody could get got.
Nah.
You know that not anybody could get got.
Knowing all this, he still let his massive ego control his behavior and then told the judge everything about every person on earth. Regardless of your opinion on all this, the mentality of much of the industry is that he's a rat. He will be rejected by the community. Prominent producers aren't going to want to work with him. He'll be working with mainly unheard of producers. I think that when he releases some music right after he gets out, people are going to listen to it out of curiosity and amusement. I mean, a lot of these kids on Instagram say they'll never support him again, but will be listening the day a new song drops. The point is, he'll probably take off for the immediate aftermath of his release. However, once some time passes, he's gonna have to capture a consistent fan base, which I find very unlikely. For example, the Kim Jong-un of the rap game, Russ, is ostracized from the industry to a large extent, even though he really hasn't done anything that bad, and 6ix9ine will be rejected like Russ, but times 10. The difference, though, is that Russ has an extremely dedicated and rabid fan base. 6ix9ine made hits and was really good at hyping them up, but he won't have nearly the amount of hardcore Tekashi fans drooling for a new release. A huge amount of rappers that are more influential than 6ix9ine have completely denounced him at this point, so I don't see this working out for him in the long term. I could be wrong about all this. I mean, I was wrong last time, but I do not see him succeeding like he used to. It also just seems like even though most of his audience isn't associated with gang life and all that, many people aren't going to see him as that cool guy who didn't give a frick anymore. 6ix9ine was the definition of how being an Instagram stuntman can get you places, even more than Lil Pump, who previously was thought of as the epitome of this. 6ix9ine took it further than him with a crazier look and trying to have a gangster image, which came back to bite him in the ass. I would say something like, "Let this be a lesson to you kids," but everyone knew that his behavior was stupid the whole time. It was really just a man who chose to do some stupid shit and whose behavior would, I guess, inevitably catch up with him one day. So yeah, in summation, it would suck for him if this happened, but there's a chance that one day 6ix9ine will be sitting in his tiny apartment after he goes broke and after the security money dries up, wondering if he and his family will even survive the next month, considering the amount of bounty that'll be on his head. But yeah, there's also a chance that he'll get back out and due to all the hype around his situation, he'll blast off, make the Billboard charts, talk shit like nothing even happened, or try to justify his behavior to the community. He was always a hated figure in hip-hop, so hey, maybe he'll just have a bunch of people that secretly rock with his music that pretend to hate him and get a bunch of listeners. I mean, that's kind of how it was before, but then again, with the ostracization, if that's a word, ostracization from the industry, I don't know if that's going to be a possibility. So yeah, for those of you who think your opinion is more informed than mine or that y'all have the true answers, leave a comment about it. I'm interested to hear what you think is going to happen in the future, and I'm not pulling a Philip DeFranco where he says, I'm curious what you guys think about the whole thing. Leave a comment below. It's obvious that he hasn't read one of his comments in like 5 years. I actually will be trying to read all the comments for a while, so I'm genuinely interested in what you think is going to happen. It's not like we'll need to wait that long to find out if he really is going to be released within the next year. Also, if you want to see more from me, then reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram and get on my ass if I don't upload in more than a week. I want to develop a consistent schedule, but my time management is complete garbage. I just need to get my shit on track, I guess, because I can't seem to do more than 3 things within a day. Anyway, I'll see you next time.